Hi, I'm Ann Fraser, and welcome to Bringing Hope to Alzheimer's. Today, we're going to talk about dementia and the different kinds of dementia, but we're going to really focus on Alzheimer's and some of the different things that you can pay attention to with your own brain health that might help you in possible early detection and some things that you can do to possibly bring your brain health back up to normal cognition. So let's start with dementia. So dementia is an umbrella that all different kinds of dementia fall beneath this umbrella. And Alzheimer's is the main one that you're going to hear the most of, and that is the most common. There's also hundreds of other kinds of dementia, but you'll hear sometimes about vascular dementia, frontal temporal lobe dementia, Lewy body dementia. There's a lot of different kinds, but we're going to focus in on Alzheimer's today. And with that being said, there are some things that you can start paying attention to for brain health. And what that means is when you're looking at your brain health and you're looking at what are some things that you do during the day that makes your brain maybe have to pause or think or do some things that's maybe not normal for you. So people will use excuses like, I have trouble concentrating every day, especially in the afternoons. I'm so tired, or they'll say, I'm just so sleepy, so I'm always in brain fog. And those are things that you should pay attention to. So if you find yourself doing some things that if it was an event by itself one time, it's not a big deal, but you start adding those things up together and you put them together, then you're like, wait a minute, maybe something is going on with my brain. For instance, if you are not able to find a word, so a lot of times we'll be like, oh, what's the name of that band? Oh, the blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's normal. Sometimes we just can't find a word and we get it right back. But it's different when you're trying to find a word and you have nothing. You have lost track of what you were saying. You can't figure out what word you were trying to say. It's absolute blankness. And you're Rolodexing in your head, trying to figure out another word to substitute that would make sense. So if you do that and you start doing that more often, that potentially might be something that you need to pay attention to. Another thing would be if you are speaking and your mouth and your brain don't work together and the words don't come out the way you want them to come out and it's kind of garbled and you get frustrated and you have to stop for a moment and really think, what was I trying to say? And then you slow down and you can say those things. So these are things that were happening to me. Let's say another thing that can be something to pay attention to would be if you are talking about something and a small disruption takes your attention away, like you're at a restaurant, you're having a great conversation with someone, and the waitress comes up and she interrupts you to ask if, you want your ticket. And so you answer her and you come back and you absolutely have no earthly idea what you were talking about before and literally cannot recollect it. And the other person has to remind you what you were talking about. So again, that's another thing that was happening with me. On a more serious note, that gets a little bit further down the road would be if you are driving down the road and you get confused as to where you're at, you get confused as to what direction you're heading, you forgot where you were going, those types of things. That's, again, another thing that you would want to pay attention to. That's a little further down the road. But like I said, each of these incidents by themselves every once in a blue moon is not a big deal, but it's something you want to pay attention to if those things start happening more and more. So when you're around people that will try to justify away, if you say to somebody, this happens all the time, it happened to me, when you say, I feel like things are kind of going on with my brain a little bit, everyone is very quick to justify. Well, your parents just passed away. You've been under a lot of stress. You sell real estate. You're one of the top real estate agents in Kansas City. And so you've got a lot on your plate. You're working 7 days a week. They'll justify that for me. So I'm like, yeah, you're right. And so those are things that you want to stop in the quietness of your own head when you're by yourself and ask, is that normal? Yes, I've been stressed. But one of my biggest triggers for cognition and my cognitive decline is stress. I can be at 100% and then have a really stressful couple days, and I will start having these moments again. And so pay attention to stress. Pay attention to sleep. If you're not getting a good 7 to 9 hours of really great quality sleep a night, that's something to pay attention to. Pay attention to what you're fueling your body with. What kind of food are you putting in your body? What is inflammatory for you? If you've not had that checked out, you would want to get that checked out. There's so many things that were easy to justify away. And when maybe in reality, we might need to say, you know what? I'm going to pay attention to some brain health, and I'm going to make some changes in that. So again, dementia, there's all kinds of dementia, and early detection and preventative measures are huge in this journey as you're trying to keep your brain super, super healthy and ward off any form of dementia that may potentially be in your future. So thanks so much for tuning in today, and we'll talk more next time